Hey everybody, what's going on? Baru here, back again with some more Dead by Daylight, and today we're going to be playing as good old Michael Myers. A couple days ago this character came out and I thought I'd give my thoughts and opinions on basically this whole patch, his perks, his ability, and everything in general. So before we really jump into it, let me go ahead and explain what exactly Michael Myers brings to Dead by Daylight. We've got a new killer here. And I gotta say, he really does shake up the way that survivors play the game. And not in the same way that the nurse did. He is a little bit better. Because the funny thing with Michael Myers is that he, compared to the other killers, doesn't really have that much power. And let me go ahead and explain that. The way that Michael Myers works is that he has a power called Evil Within. As he stalks his prey, he becomes a little bit stronger. And if he keeps stalking them, he'll become even more powerful, granting him the ability to one-shot survivors from a healthy state. So the way that this works, at Evil Within 1, your terror radius is so incredibly small you could probably walk up to someone and yank them off a generator. But this comes with a few hindrances as well. You've got slower movement speed, and you also have a very terrible lunge distance. Now, as you can see here, I'm stalking my prey, and they're not really noticing that I'm stalking them. Once I hit tier 2, they seem to have noticed that I've hit them. And by then, it's usually too late. See, the thing that Michael kind of preys on is just not paying attention, which, ironic because I end up losing my prey here, but that's kind of what he ends up preying on. Now, once you've hit tier 2, you move at the same speed as all of the other killers. So the hillbilly, the trapper, so on and so forth. In addition, you also have a slightly larger terror radius, being 16 meters rather than 32. The reason that's important is because most of the killers that are in this game have a very large terror radius. Being able to alert the survivors to your location long before you're actually there. Now, with the tier 2 and the reduced terror radius, most survivors are used to the fact that they get a 5-second head start. Whereas with Michael, they'll only have about 2 seconds to react to your terror radius, so they need to keep their eyes open rather than their ears. And this is kind of interesting with how Michael works. Now, if he continues to stalk his prey to a 3rd tier, he'll hit Evil Within 3, and that comes with a few bonuses. Number 1, with Evil Within 3, it seems that you recover from your attacks just ever so slightly faster. In addition, you can one-shot survivors from a healthy state. Now, this also has a drawback of your terror radius is now gigantic. You have the same terror radius as all of the other killers, and the entire survivor team now knows that you hit the tier 3. You'll hear a little Halloween-themed jingle when it happens, and everyone knows to stay away from you. You will one-shot them. And as well as if the audio was not enough, you also have a visual effect to go along with this, where basically you will hold your knife up ready to stab rather than the usual animation. The killer doesn't get to see this, but the survivor certainly does. And it does look a little silly, I will admit, for Michael to just start running around holding the knife in such a position, but it's nice to have sort of a visual cue that, hey, you're about to die. So this is why running away, when you hear this music, it's time to stop sitting on generators and start moving. You don't want to just stand still against him. And overall, he can really punish a lot of stupid plays. Most survivors before this patch would sit on pallets, teabagging you, or kind of just running around in one spot, also known as infinites. Well, Michael kind of counters that. Once he hits tier 3, Michael has the ability to vault through a window almost as fast, if not faster, than a survivor. So you want to try and keep him at a tier 3. The way to play against him is to kind of starve him of his special power. And the way you can do that is by breaking line of sight. Running in long distances that still maintain line of sight is probably the worst way to go about it, as you can see there. While you are running away from Michael, you're staying inside of his line of sight, making him extremely... You're powering him up, basically. You're setting up the next kill. which is why this ends up happening. It's really kind of interesting how Michael Myers ends up playing out. You know, it has to be a team effort to actually take him out. Or rather, I guess, survive against him, since you can't actually take him out. Yes, one teammate can kind of screw over the whole thing, because it kind of like ends up snowballing in against your favor. You stalk one person, you get almost to tier 3, and then after that, people just start dropping like flies. So it can seem a little tough to go up against Michael, but when you go against a full team that knows what they're doing, he just feels like a very strong, balanced killer. And a lot of people are screaming OP because, well, they don't know how to play against him. And I will agree that against having a lower ranked team and one person that kind of feeds him, it can be a bit of an issue. But the actual mechanics that he has are honestly really nice. And I gotta say, it's quite enjoyable. It is definitely quite enjoyable here. So that's kind of what Michael Myers is in a nutshell. And I gotta say, I really do enjoy the way that he plays out. You know, he's got a pretty unique style. He doesn't really need to camp hooks. He doesn't really need to, you know, break the pallets or anything like that. He just kind of goes in and out of the combat. If he wants to disengage, he can, and most of the survivors won't even know where he went. Having the reduced terror radius is huge, and if you want to, you can stay inside the tier 1. There are even add-ons that allow you to stalk your prey from tier 1 indefinitely, where you will be able to see them through the walls, but you can never reach tier 2, which is a really interesting way to play it, because you'll always move slower. So survivors can always outrun you. Yeah, you can see them through the walls, but you have no way of catching up to them. So the only way that you can actually kill them is if you outwit them, which is something that I really do appreciate. It's definitely a different way to play Michael. Speaking of which, different ways to play Michael, there are also abilities that allow you to stay in tier 3 forever, which can seem a little strong, but again, his terror radius is going to be gigantic, and you know that he's in tier 3, so you have to play against it accordingly. And that's what I kind of like about Michael Myers. All of his add-ons kind of drastically change up the way that he plays this game, and you don't know what kind of Michael you're gonna get from the very first, you know, from the first interaction with him. All Michaels kind of like play the same when you first meet them. They stalk you a little bit, and then they move on to however they're gonna go about, you know, killing you. So it's kind of interesting, and it adds a lot of different gameplay. And he has a couple perks that are honestly very, very powerful. Granted, the survivors also have a very powerful ability, the Decisive Strike, which personally I'm against, but considering how strong some of the killer perks are, I'm okay with. His first perk allows you to recover from attacks faster as long as you keep your obsession alive, and the second, if you chase your obsession and let them go, you'll get some movement speed, which is really nice. And the ability that the survivors get is Decisive Strike, where if I pick them up, they'll have a chance to free themselves from the grip. They can only do this once per match, but imagine the frustration if you chase somebody for so long and then you finally down them and, well, they end up getting out of your grip. So that's kind of what Michael Myers is in a nutshell and what he is all about. Overall, I really do like him, and I'm probably going to be posting a few of my matches from Twitch over onto YouTube, and I hope you all will enjoy them, and I hope you all have enjoyed this commentary. Have you all had a chance to go up against Michael yet, or how do you feel about it? I don't know. I don't know how you think, so let me know in the comment section below. That's going to go ahead and end this video here. If you enjoyed it and you enjoyed my commentary, please feel free to leave a like on the video, and I will see you all in the next one, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, thank you. And as you may notice, I'm actually uploading videos. It's a crazy, crazy concept. It's ridiculous. But it happens, and it will continue to happen. And as you can see by the end of this, there weren't any rank 20s. They weren't rank 1s, but, you know how it is. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Later.